Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Let's Talk About Market. We are seeing some interesting trends, but basically, what is happening is that the moves are getting very stock specific or sector specific, and we are seeing diverging moves everywhere. So it is an interesting setup because mid cap is doing something else, Nifty is doing something else, Bank Nifty is doing something else. So we need to understand this puzzle and see where is eventually the trend headed, and that's what we will cover in this session. And there are some interesting sectors or stocks also that have come on my radar today, so we'll discuss about that as well. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. Okay, please let me know once you are able to see my screen. I hope I'm audible. Let me so nearby me. Yeah. So are you all able to hear me? Just and if you all are able to see my screen, just please put in a confirmation in the chat box. Yes. Okay. Thanks, CBK, for the confirmation. So yeah. So see, what is happening right now in the Nifty index is that we had spoken about this yesterday, that as long as it does not break above the 61.8% retracement mark, it is vulnerable for a correction. Okay. Now I'll tell you why it is vulnerable for a correction. That is because, see, if you look at the daily chart, the RMI is in sell, right? If you see the weekly chart, the RMI is in sell. If you see the monthly chart, the RMI is in sell, and in monthly it has not completed the cycle by going back to the zero line. So that is where the risk is in the near term, right? And when price action wise, we get a confirmation of something is turning around, then we always need to be very careful and be mindful of the fact that downside is possible, and we need to be prepared for that. Okay. Also, I have pointed out several times in our live session that there is this HNS pattern that is developing. Now whether it will really translate into big correction or not, I don't know at this point of time, because many of the medium term data, as we have been discussing, is indicating that maybe in the medium term, we will get a big move on the upside once this resolves. But in the near term, we have to manage our risk, which means that just like RSI, the way it can remain overbought or oversold for a very long time, similar things can happen in the sentiment indicators as well, which means that, say for example, what we are seeing right now, that is the FI's positioning, it is bearish only. In fact, when the up moves are happening, they are not covering their shorts, and when the decline is happening, they are adding to the shorts. Say for example, yesterday only, in this past 2 days of up move, there was barely any short covering, but yesterday when it declined, they ended up shorting. So I was checking the derivatives data. So all the people who don't know, we also display the derivative data. You just have to hover over here, go to FIDI data, and go to derivatives. Okay. And what did they do was, they had cut their long position, and in fact they added short position. So which led to almost around 8,000 contract addition yesterday, and now the net position is around 180. Okay, it is at an extreme on the downside, but nothing stops it from going to say 2 lakh or 2 lakh 30,000 as well, because over here as well they were overly bullish. So it is possible that over here also it can be overly bearish. So that's why always remember this. I have been repeating many times, but indicators give you a hint that you need to be mindful of the other way, but it is ultimately the price action which is the king, and that's where we need a confirmation of price action. So I had repeated yesterday also many times that until this trend line is not broken on the upside, okay, and this resistance zone is not broken on the upside, there is a risk of a correction that can happen. In which case, of course, we might get some bout of pullbacks here and there. But major bottom might not be the case. When will we think that a major bottom can be in place or a turnaround can happen is when, say, the swing and the average swing comes to the lower end. If we see the diffusion indicators on multiple time frame coming to the lower end, say 20, 50, and so on, percentage of stocks with RMI coming to the lower end. So when this was the case, okay, and we were hoping for a turnaround, at this point of time, if you put all this indicator, okay, percentage of stocks with MACD. So this, say I'm taking right now for Nifty 500, right? Then percentage of stocks above 20. Oh, sorry, this is 200. Percentage of stocks above 20 SMA, 50 SMA, 100 SMA. So basically, I'm just trying to tell you when is it that you have to think of a bottom or a turnaround. That is what I'm trying to say. So say, for example, in these cases, that, see, when it was around this Trump time as well, there was a positive divergence, in all of these cases, and then the medium to long term indicators were also getting into oversold zone. So that's where there was a possibility of a turnaround, right? So over here also, what had happened was that the short term indicators had come to the oversold zones. Sorry, this is the same indicator that I have applied. I wanted to do percentage of stocks with MACD. Stocks with MACD. But yeah. And this, if I can take it up, because this is more of a short term indicator. So over here you can see that there were many of the things that were coming to oversold, and in fact we were also approaching a very important support level, and that's why there was a scope of a pullback. Right now they are in the middle, and that's where we are sort of directionless or clueless. Typically, uh, I try to be very clear about where the direction is, but at this point of time, genuinely, we are in the middle, and even I am trying to figure out. Just give me a second. Yeah. So even at this point of time, even I am not too sure, and that's why I'm waiting for the price action to confirm. So this is one part, right? Now let's come to the Nifty chart, and that's where for me this is an important support zone, okay, and this is an important resistance zone. Until this is not taken out on the upside, or this is not taken out on the downside, we might hover over here, maybe consolidate, maybe go sideways, I don't know. But that is what is the case. I mean, it is only when we are going, if the Nifty breaks this decisively on the downside, or it decisively breaks on the upside, is where we are going to get a trending move. Else, it is going to be a very stock specific, sector specific kind of market that we are looking at. Now, I was talking about the sectors yesterday, right? I mean, if you see today, I think Nifty metal is on the verge of giving a bullish crossover. Okay, you can see the gainers also in metals. So CNX metal, and let me put the setup as well. So you can see over here that there is a bullish crossover, and this is in a range, and it is trying. So of course, I had mentioned this earlier as well, that as long as metal do not break about 97.86, we have to be neutral only. Maybe it can so happen that it can go up, then again consolidate, and so on, if the Nifty breaks down or something like that. But as long as even in the metal index, either this range or this range is not broken on the downside decisively, it is possible it can hover, it can consolidate, and it can waste time. So that is the case. Now, let's look at which are the sectors that are not doing well or that are expected to underperform as well. Okay. So see this. I mean, wherever you see, something like this happening, say a turn. So see, we are seeing an early turnaround in the oil and gas. We are seeing some sort of pullback in mid cap 50 select, nifty mid cap select index. So wherever there is this turnaround happening on the downside, basically momentum that is falling. I have mentioned this earlier as well, that momentum is precedes the relative strength weakening. Okay, so let me explain why. Say for example, let's take reality. So in reality, you will see the if you double click over here, the red line is the momentum line, the green line is the JDK ratio. Okay, so let me take a little longer time horizon and you will see this. Okay, so see what happens. Momentum tops out first, eventually relative strength will top out. Momentum tops out first, eventually relative strength will top out. Momentum tops out first, then relative strength will top out, right? So if at all, some, these indices, if at all they are on the left hand side of the 100 mark, okay, that means they are anyways underperforming the benchmark. So when they start coming down, okay, that means they are already underperforming. There was some bit of outperformance that was visible, but now that is also going away. So a dip in momentum will eventually lead to a dip in relative strength as well. And on the other hand, the momentum will turn around first, and then will the relative strength. So you can see that we have talked about this pattern as well. When something turns around from from weakening, it is an indication that over there a momentum is going to pick up, and it is possibly going into leading. And if it goes into leading, that means an outperformance is likely, and that is what we are seeing in metal, right? So this is what is happening. Also, the contra bets are the ones where they are into lagging, okay, and then they are seeing some turnaround. Now see, bank nifty, financial service, we all know that they are lagging a lot, right? So we had discussed this yesterday as well. Let me take the chart and discuss for better understanding. Okay, so now see what is happening is that the bank nifty index is coming to a very important support level, right? You can see over here, bank nifty index is coming to an important support level. And in this case, see right now what is happening is that the bank nifty is underperforming, right? But say this support zone is held on the downside, and provided nifty also does not break below this range on the downside, okay, this important support level on the downside, then there is a possibility that bank nifty can make a comeback. Okay, in which case basically this will be like a short term trade to play, uh, with a very small reversal level. So that is how I would think about it. And what gives me that confidence? So a little bit of momentum turning around is giving me that confidence, but of course you need to wait for a little more confirmation. And also please understand one thing, that when you're trying to bet on a turnaround, you don't put 100 rupee at one go, right? You will divide your positioning, and maybe you will buy some over here and buy more when those confirmations you're getting. So say for example, you know we see a turnaround over here in, say, RMI, and then prices crosses above the 40 hour. So that's where we will start betting a little more for that move. But that is how ideally the thought process should be, at least that is how I think. I mean, maybe other people's view may differ, but that is how I would think about it. So yes, so see, this is the case now. So we have already spoken about the sectors that are looking good, right? I mean, it is FMCG, metals, auto, IT. So IT, what is happening is that it is struggling around the 40-day exponential average, right? And we are not getting that confirmation. So whether it does some time pass over here, oh, sorry, basically, whether it does some time pass over here and only then it forms a base and then moves higher, I mean, is something that we need to see. But we have discussed this earlier as well, that this low is very important low. That is because of two things. One, that it is at 61.8% retracement, right? This pullback is 61.8% retracement of the entire up move. The second thing is that if you see the monthly chart, it is at the 40 month over year. And actually, the third thing is that there are a lot of stocks. So, say for example, Infi, TCS, Techem, and all those things, they have seen huge short positions in this decline. So history has shown us that at some point of time a reversal is due. Now whether this goes back again, it this again inches higher and then falls down. I mean, these are all things that we have to do the trend analysis. And for that, I've been telling that you need to see some price action reversal as well, right? Over here also, if you see else, let me show you the chart where our setups are. So you can see over here that the 40 week is not breaking on the upside. See, please understand one thing: you might get the confirmation a little late, but you will be a lot more sure about the turnaround, because say for example a 40-week breaks on the upside, and still if you're having a lot of short position, I mean, 99% those shorts are going to get covered and you might end up seeing a very good rally, right? But, when you try to do the, when you try to bottom fish, I mean, that's where there is a risk of something like this happening, right? So over here, we might have thought that, okay, we are seeing a short covering rally. Okay, this up move has happened, but after that, you will see that this decline has also happened, right? So this has led to further short positioning. Now, can this not happen? Something like this, it can surely happen, right? So that's where we need a price confirmation and an indicator, both confirming. At this point of time, indicator is warning us that maybe a turnaround can happen, but the price action so far is still in bear's control, and that is what we are seeing right now. So so that's what I mean. We need to see price action reversal. Now the main thing is the ones which are looking weak. So for the ones which are looking weak, I am looking at the weekly RRG, because that is where positionally those are getting weak. So say something like PSC has entered, is gonna enter lagging this week. Private has already entered lagging. I had spoken yesterday about reality. We need to be a little careful. The reason why I had mentioned was that you can see that there is a very big tail over here, right? It has covered a lot of distance in just 4 5 weeks time frame. I mean, you won't see such long tail for any of this. And when such long tails happen, there is a very high probability that they will enter into a lagging quadrant. And if they enter into lagging quadrant, that means it is going to underperform Nifty. And say if the Nifty index ends up breaking down, then these are the ones which will be even more worst hit. Okay, so that is the whole logic. Over here, if you see most of the indices, there the momentum is falling, and either they are very close to entering the lagging quadrant, or they have already entered lagging quadrant. So be mindful of these things. And as I mentioned, there will always be some opportunity here and there. See, IT has in the weekly, at least it has seen some pickup in the momentum, while it was continuously falling. FMCG, we have been talking about this. Pharma actually is coming into the leading quadrants. So that is something that you need to watch out closely. Consumer durable, that is also coming. So these can be the focus area, and the ones which are entering the lagging quadrant, this is probably something that you might want to avoid, or you want to be very stock specific within those. Okay, so this is one. Now I was telling you that I was trying to find, if there are any major volume gainers, or some peculiar pattern that we see. Honestly, while I was seeing this, I didn't get any meaningful stocks. But as I've been mentioning for a while, fertilizers, agri, then cement, these are all things that are looking good. And somewhere around that line, I ended up seeing couple of this stocks. So say for example, something like Sagar Cement. Okay, I had actually even seen Deccan Cement. Yeah, Deccan Cement also, we had spoken about this yesterday, uh, that there is a big breakout that is happening. After that, there was a consolidation. And in fact, if you put the RMI setup, which I typically tend to see, there was a crossover which we had seen yesterday only. Okay, and today we are seeing an up move continuing in the stock. So this was one. Then the other interesting one that I found out was Sagar Cement. Okay, this also popped up in the list of gainers. And over here, what you see is that after a big up move since 2021, it has gone sideways. Okay, and it has literally done nothing. So this is something to keep in your watch list, right? And see if this trend line is getting broken or no, because we are seeing more or less all the cement stocks sort of breaking out, or some momentum pickup is seen. So that's where, whether this will still consolidate in the triangle, or this will eventually break out. I mean, this is something we need to see. If we see the trade setup, say on the weekly monthly chart, so on the weekly chart, it has taken support of the averages and it is trying to turn around. On the monthly chart, let me zoom it. So on the monthly chart, what we have seen is that it had gone back to the lower Bollinger, and from there it has turned around. And the monthly RMI is already bullish, right? And in fact, people who don't know this, but this was a reverse divergence, right? Where prices were making higher high, but indicator was making lower low. And this is a sign of a hidden bullish divergence, which usually works very well. So there was a bullish hidden divergence also that was seen. So there were this stocks becomes an interesting one to watch out for. uh, so yeah, this is there. And I had some stocks in my watch list, and that's why I can tell you about those. But if you remember, we were talking about the FMCG sector, and within that, we were talking about, say, Zydus Wellness, right? Even Zydus Wellness in the last few days have seen a big pop. Just 2 3 days back, it was somewhere around 2000, and now it has popped to 2300. If you see the weekly chart, there is a big sideways consolidation that has happened in this, right? And this is more like a cup and handle pattern that we are seeing. So maybe if this breaks on the upside, this can become an interesting one, because almost you can say that 8 years, sorry, not 8, 7 years, there has been literally no returns over here. uh, and maybe things can look up. So this was there. Then I briefly remember we had spoken about Speak as well, because over here there was a big consolidation that was happening. And this was the case in Speak. So a lot of stock specific things are happening, and probably the move is happening at its own this thing. I mean, randomly out of nowhere those stocks are popping up. Basically, they are consolidating, underperforming, and then one fine day, they are again shooting up. So the broader idea is stay with the ones, which are showing bullish trend, and be patient with them. As long as the averages hold, the weekly RMI is bullish, and all those things happen, sooner or later, out of nowhere, they might end up seeing moves. But it is important to be patient, because what happens nowadays is that the stock moves higher, then it will go for a consolidation phase. It will irritate you, because the markets will keep rising higher. It won't do anything. And when probably the market falls, these are the ones that end up rising higher as well. So being patient with such stock is important, and understanding what is happening on the monthly chart, weekly chart, will give you a lot better perspective. Because see what has happened over here. It went through a phase of up move, then it went through a phase of consolidation. In this entire consolidation, it ended up going back to the zero line RMI, and then now it is turning around, right? Which could be an indication that a new cycle could be starting on the upside. And that's where it can get interesting. In the near term, maybe somewhere over here, it is approaching an resistance level. So you need to watch out what it does over here. If it breaks and sustains, then it is even more bullish. Else, what might happen is that it might go for a consolidation over here, then again take the support of the averages and keep rising higher. So basically, try to find out stocks which looks interesting, and then keep tracking their movement, and keep seeing what they are doing on lower time frames. So that can help you to time your entry exits also better. So say if I know that the long term structure is bullish, maybe what I would want to do is that if there is a break of a low, or a if there is a crossover and all those things happening, I might want to exit some bit and maybe re-enter once again if I get some confirmation. So I mean, those are the things. All these things technically, depends on trader to trader, how agile and how fast they want to churn, or whether they just want to hold it and keep playing out the trend. So that is what we basically need to do, right? So yes, so this is it from my end. If at all, now there are any comments or anything that you want to know more, we can discuss this. So DV, I think now the load time was bad yesterday. Okay, it has improved a bit today, but of course, we are in the process of optimizing a little more. There are some places where we are trying to improve the performance. So just wait for some time, maybe a week or two, because there are a lot of bugs also that we are trying to fix, and we are hoping that while we are fixing those bugs, even the performance related issues will go away. But we are mindful of that, and we are surely checking into this. Okay, so uh, so be rest assured that we'll work on this, and we'll try to make it better. In fact, now if you see RRG has become a lot more smoother. Okay, in fact, even if you say switch the time frames and all, the performance you will see improving, and you will see all those screens also getting loaded quickly. And the other change that we have made is that people were confused while we were putting over here 1st September, which was say a start of the week, but now we are doing it. I mean, the latest date is basically is what we are updating. Okay, even in the monthly, earlier we used to show it as 1st September, but now it is 3rd September. So all these changes we have done. Of course, there are a lot more changes that we will do, and also people had requested to that we could see more stocks. So we have tried to accommodate 100 stocks at one go. So say something like Nifty 100, so it might take a little load to the server, but now you can see all the 100 stocks over here. In fact, I have still not tried it, but let's make a watch list of say 100 stocks and see if that is working on RRG. It should ideally work. So let me see if I have any. Sorry, watch list. But we have made that provision that above. Oh, no, there are. Okay, let me just add one stock over here and see what happens. So this is stock FNO stock one. Okay, so this thing, we'll check it, but we had made this provision also for the watch list to go beyond 50. We will fix this issue as well. Okay, but at least for now, in Nifty 100, you will be able to see all the 100 stocks at one go. In due course, we will even make this watch list also compatible with 100 stocks. Okay. The next thing is that in Bank Nifty there is a positive divergence. We can expect a good bounce. Yes, you are right, Mahesh. So even I had noticed this. The only thing is that the Bank Nifty is not sustaining above the hourly averages. I mean, it is finding resistance. As in when it is bouncing back. So that is the concern. But yes, you are right. I mean, even if you see RSI. So there is this big divergence that we are seeing, almost a triple divergence that we have seen over here. So yes, you are right. I think once the 40-hour breaks on the upside, that's where the pullback can be a lot more substantial. So yes, this is definitely one thing to watch out for. Any views on metals related stock? So, Mitanshu, honestly, I've not seen much in the metals, but I think RRG should make our life a little easy. So because it had not broken out, I had not studied in depth as to what stocks, what they're doing, but it would be worth checking. So metal, you can see that Hinging, Nalco, these are the ones that are pointing upwards and rising higher. Uh, you can see Tata Steel also gaining momentum as well as relative strength, NMDC as well. Hind Copper, Sale, Lloyd Metal. See, these something like Lloyd Metal can be a contra because over here we are seeing some pickup in momentum. Eventually, we should even see some relative outperformance as well. So let us check the chart of Lloyd Metal. What is it doing? So as you can see that the stock has seen a lot of, has seen a meaningful correction. It has come back to 40 week, and now it is trying to bounce back, right? So maybe Lloyd Metal in this case can become interesting one because RMI has given a bullish crossover. It is still below the averages, but because we are seeing some sort of uptake in RRG as well, maybe I would expect that it will start to outperform a bit and then maybe even move to the improving quadrant. So this kind of looks interesting. Hinging and all this anyways look good. Now you can also take the help of the higher time frame to understand which stocks are doing how. So you can see that Nalco, it is into weakening, and daily also it is strengthening. NMDC in daily, weekly, it's improving, so it's good. Hinging, it seems to be turning around. Tata Steel, it seems to be turning around from here. So maybe you can take help of dual time frames that can help you to spot the stocks a lot more quicker, and maybe then you can do all those analysis on those stocks, and that will help you to catch the outperformers or the ones which are going to perform well. On the weekly chart, yes, you're right. On the weekly chart also, it seems to be breaking. I mean, the metal index seems to be breaking on the upside, and that's where basically it is looking interesting. So let's see what happens. But yes, if this high breaks on the upside, I think then there should be some very very good move that we should be observing in metals, and it should definitely be closely watched, and it is worth keeping note of these stocks. Now I'll even observe which are the stocks that are coming into volume gainers when I am checking this, because I had seen in the morning, I think it was Moil, Maharashtra Steel, those were coming into the volume gainers list, which were basically from the metal space. I'm not able to see. Yeah, see, Moil, I had seen it over here. Basically, there was a gap up, but for some reason there was a gap up. I'm not sure why, but this was the one. Then there was Maharashtra Steel, which had come into. So this is actually rising higher only. I'm not sure what is happening over here. I'm not tracking this, but this is the one where the momentum is already there. But yes, I'll now try to search more metal stocks as well, if at all they come over here, right? So yeah, let's see, and I'll try to share if there are any interesting observations. In high delivery scanner, the EOD prices are updating very late. Yesterday, Vilas will check this, but I don't think that should happen. I mean, someone had also mentioned it yesterday. We had checked it, but we'll definitely keep this issue. I'll just note this issue. Okay, I'll note this issue later on, and we'll check into this. Samir, yes, you're right. There were some issues that we were facing in the scanners last week, but now we have gone all the scanners with 1 minute live. Uh, Candlesticks and seasonality will be working probably only EOD, because we have not worked on this. But all the other scanners should be 1 minute delayed, and now they are locking, and now they are working a lot more smoother, and all the results are also accurate. So. So yes, now you should not be facing any issue. If you still face, please let me know, or you can raise the ticket. We will note this. Pharma pack, OI built up, short covering in Glenmark. Yes, I think yes, you had mentioned earlier. Yes, Hina says MSTC. MSTC. I need to see what this stock is doing. But I'll tell you, MSTC, I am very skeptical about that. That is because I was tracking the insider trading actions. The promoter just keeps dumping the shares. I don't know why. So yes, but yes, you're right. There is a lot of, I mean, there is a meaningful correction that has happened, and now it seems to be turning up. So yes, it looks interesting. Maybe for a short-term trade, it can be interesting because it has fallen a lot. So at least a short covering, I mean, some bit of up move can definitely happen. But this is where my concern is. I mean, if you see MSTC, so of course, see, if you're just trading for short term, then all those things don't matter much. But oh no, this is not MSTC. Then it was some. Oh, sorry. So actually, this is good. Then I was talking about MTAR Tech. I thought that is MSTC. So over here, basically, the promoters just come and they keep dumping the shares, and I thought that MSTC was MTR Tech, but yeah. So yeah, good setup over there as well. Uh, so yes, I think we're done for the day. It's 11:40. So let's see, how the Nifty index unfolds. Basically, we need to see two things for any, short to medium term reversal, and that is a break above the 61.8% retracement of the recent fall, which is say somewhere around 24,870, and then you need this zone to break on the upside. So if 24,870 breaks, then it is possible to test these levels. But when these level break on the upside, that's where a big short covering rally can come into play. So that is what the view is right now. Bank Nifty, it is at an important support level, so need to see what it does now. Okay, whether it makes a comeback or it keeps falling. That is also one thing that we need to watch very closely. Okay, it has come back to this support level, and this is also price wise an important support level. So let's see what it does over here, whether it bounces back or not. So yes, these are the observations for now, and let's see tomorrow, or how things unfold. So thanks for joining, everyone, and see you tomorrow.